Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us at ProQuality Conference. My name is Vyacheslav, and I will be the host of today's session. Please say hi to our technical moderator, Timur, who will be on background and will assist with all technical stuff throughout the presentation. A few minutes ago, we had an engaging talk about parallels between urban traffic simulations and software testing. And now we will dive deeper into test automation process, and we'll see how AI agents can be utilized in this process. And I'm very delighted to introduce one of headliners of this conference, Álvaro Laserna. Hi, Álvaro.
Hello. Thank you very much, Slava. I'm glad to be here.
It's great to see you here in ProQuality Conference. Let me share some interesting insights from your biography. As far as I know, you have a master's degrees in astrophysics. And one more interesting thing that you begin your journey in IT as QA intern in your current company, and now you have risen to the position of director of automation. Am I right?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
And
it's been a trip.
And my question is here, how has your education contributed to your success in the IT field?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they want to choose what career to follow, mostly when they are teenagers. I was myself. I didn't know what to do, and I thought that going through the most basic role branch of science, which is, I believe, is physics, was a nice grounding for the future knowledge and future applications that I would do. It is true that it's not fully directed to the IT field and AI agents, but it definitely gave me a very deep understanding of mathematics, and that has been a great help during this development, my personal development in the past 7 years that I've been working at TestDevLab.
Thank you for sharing this information. I do agree that all the knowledge that we gain in university at school, it is applicable for many areas in many fields. So before we move to the main part of our talk, dear audience, please feel free to post your questions in our YouTube chat, and we will address them in the end of the session to our speaker. And also, I encourage all of you to rate our event and give a badge to our speaker if you enjoyed the talk. The details will be shared in the end of the session. And now, let's get started. Álvaro, over to you.
Thank you, Slav. Okay, so yeah, in this talk, I'm going to be talking about test automation with AI agents. I think that quality assurance and sometimes gets on the background, and people don't mention it that much because it's not, let's say, as sexy as development and creating products, but it is as equally important to have a good quality product to deliver. And then AI, which is currently used for plenty of different topics, can't be something that we don't use for quality assurance and automation in this case. So I'm going to be talking about how to do this kind of application, why using agents, and also in the end, I will showcase Barko Agent, which is a tool that we have developed in-house, and we have now publicly for beta users. First of all, yes, I'm Álvaro Laserna. I'm from Spain, but I work for a Latvian company, TestDevLab. I'm director of automation and research and development there. And yes, I have my background is in physics, but for the past 7 years, I've been working in the IT field, different automation projects, different development projects, and recently, for the last 2-3 years, I've been working on artificial intelligence applications for both computer vision and large language models. And yes, developing new ways of testing and also other platforms, mostly related to testing and quality assurance. The agenda of today, I'm going to start with a brief introduction of LLMs and coding and how to use it there. Then I will follow up with AI agents and an introduction about what are those. Then we'll move to agents and automation and where to start, because I believe most people that wants to start working with agents, probably you don't know where or what to use. There are a lot of different frameworks that have been created recently, because right now this topic is extremely hot. And I will share a framework, a library in GitHub that you can just clone and run, and then see how to utilize these AI agents for automation. And also, one question that is very important to understand while developing any agent is which model to use, because also at the moment there are so many models, there are so many different APIs that one get lost and don't know which one to utilize for their specific use. So I will also take my own, let's say, opinion, or at least the an educated opinion about it, because we have been working with those for quite a long time. And the last step in our journey today is going to be Barko Agent, which is our test lab own tool that we have developed for this specific use case. All right, so large language models and coding. Generative AI tools, which large language model is a subset of those, can be very useful to code, fix tests, and write faster. This means that for senior developers, senior automation engineers, it is an incredibly useful tool because it helps us be much more efficient than we were before. For juniors, it is a very nice tool to use to learn, but it doesn't give the same output as for senior people, because for people that know what to do, what they should expect, and how the code they wanted to apply it within a project, they know where to look, what things are wrong, what things are right, why things shouldn't be put in the way they are. And AI, it's very good at doing things when the prompt is given very well defined. But if it's a vague prompt, then it will give you something that it might not be as useful or as scalable as you would want it to be. So now these tools are widely used by these large language models are widely used for different or a vast amount of other tools, and this is thanks to the so-called model protocol context, which is a standardized way of communication between large language models and applications. And this allows large language models to access different functionality of these tools or software, like Visual Studio Code or other terminals, or different applications. And this is getting close to what later I will define as agents. But yeah, bear with me, because we will reach that pretty soon. And now, the thing is that creating code can only bring you so far. If you are someone that doesn't know how to compile code, how to get dependencies and install them in your computer, how to work with just programming languages, then the following questions are going to be quite hard to answer, which is like, how can I integrate these within existing CI/CDs? How can I test scripts without knowledge of coding or automation? is it possible to create text to automation with LLMs that is reliable? In a way that, because the thing that everyone is looking for is, I just want to write my test in plain text, and then I want the automation to perform, or I want that large language model to perform all the validations. Kind of like, please go to this web page and validate these URLs, these buttons, these things, and that everything works fine. So kind of like that's the main goal. So that the process of testing, the process of quality assurance gets much faster. And then we have these AI tools to handle the quality assurance by itself. And then we just focus on the requirements, on the features, on what do we want to do with that tool. So for automation, let's say I asked to create code for web automation. The code is generated now. Then I need to install the dependencies. I need to test that it works. Send back to the LLMs that if any error messages have arise, and then fix the issues and repeat from B again. So now I can put the code in some test repository, upload it, and utilize this framework in a continuous integration tool so that it validates the web page every time that there is an update. But for all this workflow, you still need knowledge. You still need to know how to work with dependencies, how to work with code. In a way, you need knowledge, and a junior person or a person that have never worked with code won't be able to work effectively with this. So here we have AI agents. Now, what are these agents and why should we use them? So large language models, they can generate text. That's the main thing that they do. You write a prompt, and then text is generated to respond to that prompt or continue with that prompt. But now we know that large language models are able to join different parts of domains of knowledge to make an answer that actually follows some logic, and they can actually kind of reason over the prompt that you have followed. Which means that if you ask something and you tell that you can utilize different tools, then the large language model is going to answer with output that is formatted to use those tools. Meaning, now the large language model can have access to, in this example that I put in the screen, some Selenium functions for automation, some APIs, some database, reporter, utilities, other tools. And the large language model, what we do is we design the system prompt, the first text that we input to the large language model. Hey, you are an agent that have these functions, which is access to API, and it's literally just a function with variables. You have access to this function, which is access to the API, and the values is the URL and the body. Now that the large language model knows that can access that, the answer that will give after the first prompt of, I don't know, communicate with the APIs of Google, what it will do is it will first answer the first question with the output that is structured in a way that will trigger or will, imagine that you have, if the output contains these words, then trigger this function. Just an if statement, as simple as that. And if not, then just give the final answer. And that's how agents work. It's just a large language model that is able to trigger functions. So I will put more a simpler example, which is the one that pretty much any like API, like OpenAI, puts an example to use with agents, which is retrieve the weather. So in this case, the user asks for the weather today. The LLM is aware of the context with all its functions and commands. And one of these functions is def get weather today, close parentheses, and then the definition of the method, but just as either a Python code or Java code. Well, normally it's Python because right now all the AI is, well, most of the AI is written in Python or well, some use C. Then after this, it comes a decision or reaction. And is the LLM knows about the weather function, it parses its answer to trigger the method, and now it goes to the processing. The output of this method, it's the weather obtained, and now the LLM knows what to answer. So now this weather has been returned to the LLM, and it's inputted as a new prompt. And the first question that was in the beginning, its answer in this input that has been fed again to the LLM. And now it comes the answer. The LLM parses the final text for the user. This is fairly the loop that it happens. And in case that it hasn't been able to retrieve the information that is necessary for the user to give, for the LLM to give a final answer to the user, then it will keep on the loop until the conditions have been met. And examples of agents are actually, well, there are a vast of them. One of them is deep search or web search. Whenever you are on either OpenAI or Grok or other LLM providers, you have this click button that actually was added around 2 years ago or 1.5 years ago. And this is one of the first agents that was widespread, which is just web search. And what it does is it is simply a function that does retrieval through APIs of web search. And the LLM the only input to that function is well, a search query, which is if you ask, oh, what is the let's say, what is the time right now? Pretty much the input is what's the time right now on that function, which will return the time right now on your current location. But of course, then the API should know also your location. But yeah, those are nuances that then you have to arrange within the function. And the answer of that question then is given to the user. That is an agent. Of course, it's not as nice agent as having one that can create your own applications, or that can code, or that can modify your files, or control your computer. The next one is file search. This one is also a very powerful tool because it allows you to parse information from tons and tons of files. And well, the last one that I have put here is web and mobile automation, because it's the topic of today's. So how to create a robust automation. And here there are two potential questions of should we use code generation or should we use agents? Well, if you want to use only code generation, this is okay as long as you want only automation engineers to be able to create these tests. Because if you are using for code generation, you should understand the code, and then you should be able to organize it or debug it in case that it fails. So it's good, but it's not. It is not for everyone. And if you are going to use it all the time, code generation, every time that you are going to test something, the problem is that every time that you create like an automation code, it might create paths to the UI interface that might change, and the flows that it's going to generate might be different. For example, imagine that I want to test the contact us contact us flow for a web interface, and sometimes for that web you can have the contact us on the open on the upper screen, and sometimes you can have that contact us, or well, all the time, but it can be also down in the footer of the web. And which means that the AI has to decide which one to use, unless you specify like please use always that. But if you don't, if you are a little bit lazy on the prompt, then it might choose different paths, and that means that it has an irregular type of testing. So the automation is not fully like robust. It won't always deliver the same results, and this is not something great because of reproducibility. Gets a little bit harder if things like that happen. So why to use agents? What we can do with agents is that we can generate the code once on the when the tools choose which functions to use. We can record those, and then later we can rerun them in order to do this automation. And I will make a very clear example later so that you understand this. The example of this is I ask this question of go to this web page, do this and that. Then it executes a function, and depending whether it has been successful or not, it will write the function in a test script. If it hasn't been successful, then it will go to the LLM and tell like, hey, this hasn't been successful. Can you retry it with a different method? And pretty much that will build the full test script. And okay, all of this was very nice, but you might ask like, okay, well, how can I start with this? How can I start building my automation with agents? The easiest and most successful for people that haven't worked much with agents, in my opinion, is using Llama Index and also Python Test UI, which is a framework for web and mobile automation. It is easy to set up. It has integrations with most LLMs and pretty much out of the box agents. Because you could decide to go for the OpenAI APIs and dependencies. But the problem is that if you use that, then you will be locked to that LLM. And if you want to migrate to Gemini or to Mistral or any other, then, well, you will have to write the full code. So let's go to an actual example. Here I have shared a QR code that navigates to this URL. if you have your own computers, we can utilize this as kind of like a workshop. So yeah, the idea is that if you navigate here, you clone the repository, then you can pretty much have the following code that I will show you in my own screen. Yeah, I believe that now you can see my screen. And yeah, I'm using Visual Studio Code. The code is extremely simple. It's barely 56 lines of code. And we have main.py. We have a prompt.py, which is pretty much the initial prompt that we use for the agent to understand which methods it has and how to organize the thought process. And then we have the Selenium functions, which are a bunch of functions that are only to do web automation. So now our agent can access create driver, stop driver, maximize window, add cookies, navigate to URL, and so on, so on, so on. If there is a function that it's not here and you would find it useful, you can just add it and then put it here, and now it will have the new function for that type of functionality. And yeah, one thing, you can either write here your OpenAI. I'm using OpenAI in this case, but you could use also Gemini or others. But for simplicity, and later on, I will explain why I'm using OpenAI. You can use this one. You can either write the OpenAI key here or set it up as an environment variable in your terminal. I will recommend you set it up as an environment variable and not put it here, because if you put it here and then you decide to push your code, well, your OpenAI key will be exposed to the internet, and yeah, that's not good. Then, well, here we have the functions, as I said. Then we get all the functions into the agent in this line. I'm accessing all the tools. I'm setting up the LLM that I will be using, and I'm setting up the prompt. And that's pretty much it. Then in the agent, I run the message that is inputted through the terminal, and that's it. So now I will run the code. Python main will ask the question, enter the command for the agent. And the command for the agent is going to be the following. Go to test.lab. And I don't need to put even like the test.lab.com. LLMs are very smart and already knows where and how to point it. Go to test.lab and click contact us. I will put it a simple one so that it goes faster. I don't want to spend too much time here. But it opens, it goes to test.lab, and it will first, yeah, clicks contact us, and now it will just stop the driver. Final response, if you remember from previously, first was the question, then it will use tools, create driver with inputs. Then it, again, navigate to the URL, this one, click, and yeah, I have successfully clicked on contact us. This is the final, well, here is the final response. I have navigated to test.lab website and click on contact us, link as requested. You now on the contact us page. That's pretty much it. We could also potentially ask it to not only click on contact us, but also fill the details. And well, maybe you are also wondering if it can do that. Go to test the lab click on contact us and fill the details, but don't send it. And as you can see, I'm very vague on how I'm writing this, like the fill the details and so on. And the thing is that the LLM is quite smart, so it will figure that out. My internet right now is not going as fast as I thought, but I promise that it will figure it out. Figure it out. So it has failed on finding one, but maybe you remember previously, when it fails, it doesn't mean that that it will just jump out of the LLM and then just tell like I can't do that. It will just rethink and try to trigger the action in a different way. In this case, it has just found a different locator, and now it's doing the code. It's doing the actions. Also, one thing that you might be noticing is like, oh my god, but this is going quite slow. Part of it is my internet connection, but the other part is that yes, it runs slower than regular automation. And then you will think, okay, then why to use this when running regular automation might be much faster and much better than using LLMs. But if also you remember what I said previously is that we are writing every step done by the LLM. So what it means is that now that this has finished, it has done all the steps, I have this code, which is just the Python code, to run the automation. Let me check which one is the one that has generated here. Here it is. So I will delete the other two because I don't care about those two. And I will run Python tests on this. And now you will see the speed on which this runs. There it goes. So yeah, this is the first demo of today. The second will come a little bit in a couple of minutes. But yeah, if we can switch again to the awesome. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So previously I said our model, that the model that I was using for this agent was very smart. The reason is, well, I was using the 4.1 mini of OpenAI. It is an extremely capable and fast large language model. To be honest, I think if you are using the APIs of OpenAI, I would definitely recommend you to use the 4.1 models. They are extremely good, much better than the 4.0. And if you don't need reasoning, if you don't need these reasoning models, I could say that it's on pair of the 0.3 mini models, which is quite impressive for a model that doesn't have any reasoning. So here I come to which model to use. We have, at least I put here the most famous ones. We have OpenAI, Gemini, Mistral, and then other open source models. Related to OpenAI, the models from OpenAI, they are extremely good. They are best for accuracy. As much as Gemini 2.5 Pro, those are getting closer, but is kind of like it always matches, but then OpenAI 1 week later release another model and they are again ahead. So from OpenAI, if you need really an accuracy that is the best, that performs like with the best logic, let's say, the OpenAI models are definitely the ones that right now are on ahead. But there are two cons about these ones. They are normally more expensive than Gemini models, and they are slower. So if you value speed over accuracy, then definitely Gemini are the models to go. The Flash model, the 2.5 Flash, it is incredibly fast. And the other good thing about Gemini models is that they are very cheap. It is incredible that you can utilize them for almost no price. And also the other good thing about Gemini models is that they have free tiers of usage. So if you don't have a paid account in Google Studio or AI Studio, you can still utilize Gemini models. So that's definitely a great point on why to start with Gemini instead of OpenAI. Then Mistral is very nice because it's based on EU. And then if you value to have your data within the European Union, that's nice. But it is much more expensive than the other two. And the last one is open source. And for these ones, I would say that they work only on two occasions. One of them is if the logic that or the agents that you want to utilize are very simple. It's just like get weather, click on or utilize this tool, and that's it. But if you want to utilize them for more complex things, even for automation, you will have to spend a lot of money on infrastructure. You will have to spend a lot of money on GPUs and just regular commercial GPUs like the 5090 or the 4090s, which already are around 2,000 to 3,000 euros. Those still won't give you the performance that, not even near the performance that OpenAI or Gemini can give you. For the bigger models like the 70 billion parameter or the 300 billion parameter or things like that, you will need setups that are on the tens of thousands of euros. Normally, a rack of these H100 NVIDIA GPUs, if you have 8 of them, might be 100,000 euros. Which is a ton of money. So for regular people, utilizing these super smart models, it's not feasible, at least not locally. So that's what I can say about which models to use. And finally, let's arrive to Barko Agent. Barko Agent is a tool that we have developed internally in Tesla Lab that pretty much does this, but out of the box, you don't have to know anything about coding. And then you can just literally just create a project that is Selenium based and then ask questions as I did in the terminal. So yes, if we can switch back to, okay, perfect. So if you want to get there to Barko Agent, you can apply for it. But here we have the user interface. If you want to create a project, you just have to create a new project and then choose Selenium, and that's it. You save and publish. And then you have the project here, which I have already created it. And I can ask the same question. Go to test dev lab and click on contact us. You run it. It has a nicer interface so that you can see the thought process and the actions. Right now it's creating driver, going to test the lab, and now it's probably trying to click on contact us, but the first time it might fail because it normally chooses like a random contact us locator. And yeah, let's wait a little bit. Yeah. Now it's retrieving the whole HTML, and I will try again. Yeah, there it goes. And that is it. Here we also have the code that it has generated to run this. And now we can replay the test as we did previously. And that's it. We have the test here. We can replay any test that we have run before. And if it fails, it will be marked in red. And yeah, we can have like a full test suite within chats. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we can come back to the presentation. And this is it. I hope you learn a little bit. I hope this was nice, and that you can try these models, these agents, and happy coding. And now it's questions and answers.
Álvaro, thank you so much for the very interesting tips about LLMs, the usage, sharing your personal experience, and great live demo sessions that has proven that how far we have moved forward in using and utilizing AI capabilities in testing world. Before we move to the Q&A part, I kindly ask you all our watchers to scan QR code, and we will send a link in the chats and rate our event. And also feel free to assign the badge to our dear speaker if you enjoyed the talk. Now let's move to the Q&A part. We have a couple of questions. Let's start with them. So first question from Ksenia. What are the most challenging part in doing automation with the agents? And what are the golden rules that you can share to avoid AI agent hallucinations, looping, or giving different results each time?
So the first part of or more challenging part is finding actually the better model to utilize, and in this case is quite significant. The difference from using, for example, the 4.1 models from OpenAI or using the 2.5 Flash. And when I say like 4.1, even like the 4.1 mini or nano, they perform better than the 2.5 Flash. And here I address also the AI agent hallucination, because with the Gemini, I have found, even though they have a huge context window, they tend to hallucinate much more. And if you try to utilize models locally, like the Llama 3.1 on the 8 billion parameters, those are going to hallucinate a lot. So the first thing that I would say is that choose the correct model. You can experiment with these lighter ones that are cheaper or that for experimentation are nice. But the problem is that whenever you're going to get more and more complex in the automation, whenever you're going to ask things that are more hard, like, please, you have to first utilize this API method, then utilize the cookies or the authorization from the API to the UI interface and set it as a cookie, then When it gets more complex, you will see that these lighter models or cheaper models start to behave much worse. So, of course, the most expensive are more expensive, but I would still say, in my experience, using the OpenAI 4.1 model, even the not the nano or mini, like the regular one, you will have to use it a lot to spend more than, I don't know, $4. Like I'm telling you, like you will have to use it a lot, in order to spend more than $4 or $10. Like it is a huge amount of requests that you will have to do for that. So it's not that you are going to get you're not going to go bankrupt for that. And yeah, I could say that that's like choosing the model is the most challenging one, at least when I was starting.
And we can recommend our audience to continue experimenting
Yeah,
to choose the proper
definitely.
one. Because we are now in the very beginning, I think, of everything, and experiment is our
Mhm.
one of the way for us. Okay. Next question is it possible to combine Google Vertex for open source Gen AI models?
Google Vertex. I have, let me, because that one, Vertex AI platform. I believe this is a closed tool for Google, and I believe that they hold the like the intellectual property of that. So I don't think you can utilize open source GenAI models for that. I'm not 100% sure, but I could say that it's probably that no, you can't really use it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the reply, and let's move to the next question. What about Claude? It exists in GitHub Copilot, and for me, it's more powerful.
Yes, for coding, very powerful. And for agents, I haven't tested that much, but also it's more expensive. So for me, I had to choose which one was giving me the best performance to like expanding, let's say, ratio. And that's why right now we are supporting Gemini and OpenAI models, but it's true that Claude is on the radar, and I want to give it a try. But yeah, definitely for coding, it is excellent.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's move to the next question. Thank you. Very interesting. Based on your experience, what factors would you suggest taking into account to configure AI agents from scratch by our own? Or so this one of two. So to configure AI agents from scratch by our own, or using out of the box AI agent solutions.
So this is a complex, and it requires a lot of context on what are you trying to do. While it's true that developing your own AI agent will give you the best flexibility in terms of features, and when you want them, then you can just develop them and have them. But it also comes with cost, because you have to actually hire developers that knows what they are doing, do the integrations and all those things. So that's pros and cons of utilizing out-of-the-box AI agents solutions. For our case, we have this tool for the automation. It is true that there are a bunch of others that are doing fairly similar things. but we are trying to go in the direction that if you want to deploy locally, then you can do so, and with a very simple with a very simple setup. But it is definitely a complex thing, and if you want to ask more about it, you can write me what kind of feature you want to implement for AI agents, and yeah, we can take a look at it.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Contact details are in the screen. The screen. Do I need to apply for Barko with a company email only? Gmail is banned?
Any email.
Okay. Cool. Let's move to the next question. Maria is asking the question, what are the main steps of implementing AI agents for automation?
So I would say like the main step is try the framework that I share with all of you today. It is public, so anyone can access it and can try that out. So the first is experiment with that. If that's in case that you want to, let's say, if you are knowledgeable enough to create the functions, and then it's just asking the questions. The thing is that, or the problem is that no out of the box agent or AI agent is going to give you all the functions that works for your whole platform. If it's any complex, I mean, if it's just a WordPress web interface, then you can use a lot of, well, our tool, for example. But if you have some complex workflows that require accessing your internal VPNs, APIs, databases, or whatnot, then you have to develop or to add these functions, specific functions, to access those databases or APIs. And which you can do with Barko Agent, or you can do also with this framework that I share with you. But yeah, like the idea of that you are going to be able to log in a web page, and then it's going to have all the functions that retrieve all your functionality. That is a little bit of a wild dream, and it will always going to require a little bit of development first.
Thank you. Thank you for the answer. And next question is, can the agent be efficient in exploratory testing without a defined scenario described in the prompt?
So yeah, this is an interesting question. And if for a limited scope, yes. And the only thing that we'll need is, let's say, more and more tools. So if you provide your agent with tools for also the visual part of it, the asserting whether things are on the right place, which right now there are more and more frameworks that can do things like that, and you can utilize them as tools within the AI agent, then yes, you can run these validations. You can also add another tool to the AI agent, that is raise a warning, and then it will maybe like do a webhook to your Discord or to your Slack channel in the end if it has failed. And yeah, like definitely you can ask, please check this web page for errors on some stuff, and it will kind of do some limited exploratory testing. But of course, I will still always recommend to have some QA testing, QA manual testers that are experts on doing that. Don't just rely on AI tools, because I mean, if we leave all to computers, it will perform best for computers, not for humans.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, Thank you. We have one more, probably two more questions, and 4 minutes left. Which agents can we use for educational purposes, which are compatible with Java?
I mean, for educational purposes, it's I mean, you can utilize pretty much any large language model because they are getting better and better and structurizing ideas and thoughts. And for coding, definitely uh, using any like Copilot or anything like that can help a lot learn how to do programming. So I wouldn't say like there is anything specifically with Java. I think with any language you can utilize a lot of these tools, and um, I don't have a specific preference. Maybe I use OpenAI a lot, so I will go for that. But as someone said before, Claude is also a very good, powerful tool. Yeah.
Thank you. Um, One more. Do you plan to add support not only for Selenium, but also for other frameworks such as Playwright or Cypress?
So the thing is that you we have these custom agents that you can deploy locally, and then it can work with any other let's say framework from ourselves, from the platform itself, and the Selenium agent that is right out of the box. We don't fully find it not necessary because it's on the API and you don't really need to code anything. You just need to ask questions and then we'll do them. But for custom agents that we also support, that might be also a possibility to add Playwright Cypress. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's good. And probably the last question for today.
Mhm.
How does the presented approach differ from an approach that uses, for example, AI agent and a Selenium MCP server?
It's very similar. I'm not gonna lie. It's very similar because it in the architecture itself, it reminds a lot. The thing is that in our case, our agents, instead of using MCP, we are using WebSockets, and the information flows a little bit faster from our our architecture. But in terms of the the usage and how it works is fairly the same.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for the information. And looks like that's it. Álvaro, one more time. Thank you for the great presentation and joining ProQuality conference. Dear listeners, thank you for joining us today. Presentation deck will be uploaded soon on our talk page, as well as video recording that will be available in a month after the conference. And also, I would like to invite you all to our third day of the conference tomorrow, where we will continue to discuss AI and metamorphic testing. So that's all for today. Stay tuned. Join ProQuality community in our social networks, and see you tomorrow.